Well, welcome back. Welcome to episode 5. I'm going to do something a little bit different. As I said in my last podcast, I'm starting to put together some interviews of people as they're going to share some of their stories of how they have put their life and their work together. And I thought that what I would do in this episode is I'd give you a little glimpse further into a part of my life that I mentioned in a previous podcast. And that is that about 5 years ago, I hit the wall. I went through a burnout process, a period of time where, everything just kind of seemed to let go. And I discovered as I was preparing for this episode something that I'd recorded nearly 5 years ago. And it tells the story of the day that journey began. It tells you the story of the morning where I realized something wasn't right. It tells the story of the morning where I all of a sudden wasn't really in control. So I thought as a good way to continue to move forward on this quest would be to continue to show you just a little bit of my story. And I'll continue to tell that as we go along. But here it is. This is called A Morning of Deconstruction. It started like almost every other day. It would end like no other I had experienced. A restless night's sleep without dreaming or rejuvenation led to a morning of heavy feet and a head that just didn't want to engage in what was to come next. My mornings are pretty predictable. They start around 6 a.m. when I find a small child around 4 years old wedged between myself and my wife. Heaven knows how long this child has been there, but long enough to make himself comfortable, gain ownership of significant shares of the bed, and cause me to find myself, a grown man of 35, clinging to what now seems to be 5 centimetres of my queen-size mattress. We have 5 boys, so there is a predictable noise that is expected upon waking in our household. It is inevitably the noise of a child being chased by another child who is protesting about the ownership or current possession of an item that, although lost for 4 months behind the couch, is of vital importance. Boys are fun. They bring a natural energy to the house, a sense of momentum that without them would need to be generated from within myself. As I'm about to explain to you, the idea of self-generating anything had become just a distant memory for me. Chaos was upon us. It was now 7:30 a.m. and our house is in full swing. You know how in movies, families seem to move in almost a choreographed perfection as they all get ready for school and leave for work? Picture that scene and then forget it immediately. The truth of a household of 7 is it's more like trying to catch a bus or a train in a foreign country, asking random people where the heck you should be and which platform you should be standing on. This is intersected by audible time updates from either myself or my wife. Inevitably, this announcement usually coincides with the moment that I ask a small child why they don't have any shoes on. I don't know why I insist on asking this question every single morning, because I already know the answer. I can't find them, explains a cute and infuriating little face. But for some reason, unexplainable to myself, we seem to always get out of the door, always manage to pull off the miraculous, to get 5 boys up, fed, and moving in the direction of their morning activities. As for my wife and I, well, we take stock of our day at 8:45 when they are safely delivered to school. But this morning was different. This morning, after the morning rush, I reached down into my emotional reserves, as I do every morning, to pull out the energy, focus, and determination to push into my day. But today, as I reach into a well-known place, I am met with an unknown problem. There is nothing there. Not a thing. Many mornings I have thought that there was nothing there, but a quick hit of caffeine or an early work meeting have usually proved that there is something there. I just wasn't looking hard enough. But this time, I couldn't find it. I was spent. And so the journey into one of, I think, the hardest and I think in the end most powerful periods of my life started to take place. I'll be honest with you, I never want to go through my burnout again, but I'm better for it. I'm a better person for it. I'm a nicer person for it. I'm a calmer person for it. So I'm keen to unpack more of what that the last 4 or 5 years have looked like for me, as I've really struggled to work out what it is I'm supposed to be doing with my life and how to put all that back together. Because the interesting thing is, in the last 5 years, what I really ended up doing was I kind of went back to the beginning and ended up trying almost everything that I'd ever done in my life prior to the burnout. I guess just trying to check if I'd missed something or I'd made a mistake or I had, missed a part of my life that I thought I wanted to do instead of what I ended up doing. So I went all the way back to my passion for music and for audio, and I went back and tried sports I used to do as a kid, and I dabbled in all of the things that I'd kind of moved on from to check if just maybe I'd missed something. And here I am today. I seem to have come full circle in those 5 years. But what I know is what I don't want to do again. I said to you in the first podcast that I don't really know what I want to do next, other than this is what I want to do next. This podcast is what I want to do next. Telling stories is what I want to do next. Helping other people tell their stories is what I want to do next. Enabling you to be encouraged or challenged by other people's stories is what I want to do next. So I'm trying to work this out as I go along. Exactly the same way that I'm pretty sure you are trying to do in your life. And I hope that we can jump into this together. So next podcast hopefully will be a little bit more about my journey through that burnout. And you may even hear from my wife on the next podcast if I can convince her to come on. I'm sure she has many things to talk about that journey and what that looks like, and how hard it is to live with me in the midst of that process. But as I said, we've got a couple of interviews coming up in the next couple of weeks that I'm sitting down and doing, and I'm really looking forward to putting them out and for you to start listening to them. So they should be coming really soon. So don't forget, hit subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We're available everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Castbox, you name it. And then you'll get a notification when we go live with some more stuff. But really looking forward to it. Hope you're enjoying it so far. And see you soon. See ya.